Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another CodeOS podcast, where we invite inspiring personalities and have them share their experiences with us. Now, today we have yet another inspiring personality. He's a computer engineering undergrad from Mumbai University. He has a 2 years of working experience in cybersecurity field. He is currently working as a security engineer at Security Innovations. Please welcome Siddhant Tambe. Welcome, Siddhant.
Hello. Hi.
So, Siddhant, my first question to you would be, what is cybersecurity?
Okay, so so it's quite a vast topic to be honest. I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. So as developers, we develop apps, right? We develop web apps, we develop mobile apps, and some of those apps we need to make sure that those are secure and like there are no vulnerabilities into it. So cybersecurity deals with that realm where you are basically dealing with the security aspects of the application. So like if you have a banking application, we need to make sure that it is secure. No one can come ahead and like steal your money because a lot of businesses and a lot of workflows are going online right now. So we need to make sure that that part of the realm is secure and yeah, like no one can come ahead and like use it in an or abuse your system in some way or the other. So that is what cybersecurity deals with.
And the next thing would be, how is cybersecurity as an business means job opportunities available in the field, and how good is this field to opt for?
No, what was the latter part of the question?
How good is cybersecurity as an uh, option to go for?
Okay, so cybersecurity is pretty great actually. So the thing with cybersecurity is that there are two basically pathways, not two, there are more than two, but mainly categorizing there are two or three pathways where one is red teaming, that is offensive cybersecurity, where you go ahead and hunt offensive, where you basically go ahead and hunt for bugs that are out there. Then there is blue teaming, that is like defensive part, where you basically set up some sort of infrastructure to defend or fend off incoming attacks, and then there's some sort of like somewhere middle ground that is known as purple teaming that includes both red teaming and blue teaming, and best of both worlds are combined. So cybersecurity as a career option is pretty great because you get to discover a lot of these fields. Plus the pay is really good, like even and the flexibility with your job is really good. So something related to cybersecurity is like you might have heard a lot of people who are interested into cybersecurity might have heard about bug bounty hunting, right? So bug bounty hunting is basically a platform. There are many platforms out there for bug bounty hunting where companies and like different app vendors they go ahead and host their site and they invite hackers to come and hack on their website, and if any bug or vulnerability is found, they pay these hackers in like a good amount of money, and usually it's in dollars or euros. So someone who is staying in somewhere like in India, where the value of dollar and euro is quite high, you get paid according to the European and American standards. So that is a pretty good pay. Plus, you get the flexibility of working from anywhere. Like you don't necessarily have to be. It really doesn't necessarily have to be a 9 to 5 job. It can be anything according to your will. And even apart from this, like even as a normal job opportunity, there are tons and tons of opportunity available in cybersecurity.
Cool. So, could you tell me things that a student learning cybersecurity must do in order to secure the best package for themselves?
Okay, so if we are talking about securing the best packages, I'll start with like Linux is must. You need to know ins and outs of Linux, like how Linux work, what is Linux kernel, what kind of networking is there. You need to know network concepts. You need to know IPv4, IPv6. You need to know about web application. If I'm talking about beginners, if a beginner has to go into cybersecurity field, knowing about web application is must. Like this is not a hard set stone, but many companies expect beginners to know web application and some basics of network application. So uh, these are, I think, by far the must. Like you need to know this before applying to any sort of a job. You need to be really good with web application hacking. You need to be good with network applications. You need to know about Linux and even Windows, to be honest, because you need to be working on Windows as well.
So you mentioned hack the box, right?
Yeah.
And you are amongst the top 500 in the global rankings of hack the box. So can you tell us?
Yeah, at one point of time, I was in top 500, but like that thing is not applicable anymore because it's like a competitive process and you need to be
Yeah, yeah,
continuously into that
yeah,
field.
that's true.
Yeah.
But it still counts. Then,
Okay.
so so you mentioned hack the box. So can you tell us what hack the box is and how helpful was it for you?
Okay, so like normal coders, like they go ahead and practice competitive coding on some sites like HackerRank and others. I don't know a lot about coding. So as security engineers and enthusiasts about security, we go ahead and compete on platforms like Hack the Box and Try Hack Me. And there are many more, but these two are like the front runners when it comes to competitive hacking. Here, what happens is that you are provided different challenges. Like, especially in Hack the Box, you are provided an IP address where there is a boot to root kind of a machine where you are given like a particular instance of like web application or whatever, and you need to go ahead and like get the root access of that system from that IP address. So that is how Hack the Box is. And Hack the Box is pretty great because it allows you to, participate in CTFs. CTFs are capture the flag and other sorts of events where you get to learn hands-on on a lot of things. And it might seem intimidating at the start, but once you get your feet dirty in it, there's no stopping from it. Like Hack the Box is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's that's a really cool insight. Now, can you recommend some sources for learning cybersecurity?
Okay, so I'll start with web applications because that is where I'm currently working and I know and I have some sort of experience in web application and network application. So I'll begin with those two. For like any cybersecurity course, if you have to start in cybersecurity, I'll say that you need to know Linux. Linux is a must. So there is this course known as Practical Ethical Hacking by the Cyber Mentor. I highly recommend that course for beginners because it has been designed in such a way, and the instructor like literally teaches in such a way that it's very, it's friendly, it's beginner friendly. You get the concepts he teaches are easy to grasp, and there's nothing of that sort of complicated where as a beginner you'll face some difficulties, right? So that is a must if you have to start like for Linux and get to know the basics of web and network. Then if you have to specifically specialize in web applications, there are two good websites that I would recommend. One is the Portsfigures website that has a lot of interactive labs where you can go ahead and practice a lot of many sorts of vulnerabilities, and the other one is OWASP top 10. So OWASP is basically a website where there are like top 10 vulnerabilities that are most currently prevalent. Those vulnerabilities are listed and how to find those vulnerabilities. Like there's a complete list on that website where you can go ahead and find like, okay, these are the sort of vulnerabilities that are active right now, and this is how I can find these vulnerabilities. And like it also lists out tools and what all things you require in that. So yeah, these two sites I'll recommend for web application. And to learn about network and also about web application, you can go and visit Try Hack Me. So this is another website where you can also go ahead and like, compete with other players. And there are also boot to root machines on this website as well. And you'll get to learn a lot about it. It has different pathways like complete beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then like super advanced. So that's how Try Hack Me is structured. And it's pretty good if you are like starting as well. It does have a subscription. It is behind a subscription wall. You do have to pay around $7 or $8, I guess. And but I'd say it's money well spent because the amount of resources that you're getting there is completely worth it.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
And do you think that coding is a must for means how important do you think coding is in terms of cybersecurity?
Okay, so since you are in computer field, I think that you never really get away from coding as such.
Okay.
But you you need to understand what the code is. You don't need to go ahead and code a lot of things, but you need to understand how properly it works, right? How this application works, how what are the loops and all that works in it. So yeah, I feel like knowing how the code works in the backend is really important. You don't necessarily have to go and code, And also, if you know coding, that's really good because you'll be able to automate your things. You don't have to go ahead and look manually. You don't have to search manually for all those things.
Are there any things you missed out on as a student for your preparation?
Yeah, I think I have missed out on two particular things. The number one is like a lot many people are interested into ML, AI, and development, right? So you don't necessarily get to know like there's this kind of field as well, which is also really lucrative. But yeah, so that is what happened with me. Like when I was still till third year of my college, I had no idea that cybersecurity as a domain exists, and it's so interesting. I basically got to know cybersecurity from COVID because that's how I was like having ample amount of time and I could explore all the things that I like. So yeah, I'll say that people there are very rare. It's a very niche field. You don't find people generally going for cybersecurity. Heck, even in my batch, I could barely find one or two people who are interested in this field, and it's like you really need to know where you need to go before getting into this field. So I think yeah, that was one big part that I missed, and the second big part was that there were no seniors again. It like sort of falls in the same line, but then, yeah, there was no guidance from any seniors or whatsoever. Like, this is a field, how you should go about it and all. So that was the.
So the guidance from the seniors is very important, you say.
I mean, yeah, obviously, as a beginner, you really don't have any idea how to,
Yeah.
go about things and how to
Can you
proceed and how to get internships and all. But if you have any seniors, they are easily able to guide them with their experience and all.
tell us how your recruitment process was?
Oh, okay. So, to be honest with you, my recruitment process was extremely terrible. I was given like two or three chances for me to apply. So by the first chance, I was, I guess, in last sem of third year or like beginning of fourth year, where I actually tried to apply for this company, Security Innovation. Uh, so the hiring process is as follows. Basically, you will be given a website and you have to hack the website. This is like the first round. Like normally coders have like coding round, right? We hackers, we have a hacking round. Basically, where we are given a site or a box and we have to hack it and like make a report of it and then submit it to the managers or like whoever is hiring HRs or whatever. So for me personally, the first time I got it, I there were like seven categories that I was supposed to have, and I got till like five or six categories. So I missed on one or two. So the HR said that, hey, this is not like you're not cutting the criteria right now. You're not going beyond that threshold. So do one thing. Once you're completed with your engineering, go ahead and try again. So yeah, apart like I tried to learn a lot of things in the meanwhile. And then again, after my engineering finished, I still had no job by that point of time. I gave my interviews after my final sem final exam, like just after my vacation started. And then I cracked the first round. And after that, I had like two interview rounds with the managers, and that's how I got in.
So, what do you think that the things usually recruiters ask, and they hope that you must know in order to hire you?
Okay, so it really depends on what kind of job role you're applying for. So specifically, even for security engineer, there are tons and tons of things that might be expected of you. Like if you say that, hey, I'm pretty comfortable with networks, they'll go ahead and ask you a lot of things about networks. If you say that, hey, I'm comfortable with Android hacking, they'll go ahead and ask you things about Android hacking and so on about web and all. So I specifically told my hiring manager that hey, I'm kind of comfortable in web applications. So that is what he asked me related to. So in web applications there are a lot of things like there are browser security measures that are there. So he asked me about same origin policy, cross origin resource sharing, and what are cookie securities, what is injection, SQL injection. uh, yeah, so he asked me technical stuff that were related to web application and couple of stuffs that were like for network applications as well.
So, what do you think a average package a person fairly good at cybersecurity can go for?
Okay, so a person who is fairly good at cybersecurity can easily go up till like 16 or like, anywhere between 12 to 16 LPA is like expected of any good ex good person. Like he know if he knows what's the basics of cybersecurity, not even like advanced or intermediate. If he knows basics and that too really well, that is pretty much expected. Anyhow between 12 and 16 LPA is expected out of it.
And given he has done certain internships as well, he said, or with
Pardon me, I didn't get you. Can you repeat?
even he has done some internships, or with zero experience, with no internships as well.
So, the thing with internships is that you do basically internships so that HR actually knows, like, hey, I have done some work with this related field in the past, so you can expect that I know things. But that is really not required in this field. Even degree is not required in this field whatsoever. So, people with no, I have literally have colleagues who have no degree at this point of time, and they're still working with a really fairly good amount of packages. So, yeah, I mean, you necessarily don't need to have any internship experience or even need like some sort of certification, to go into a job. But I'll say that it definitely helps because, see, HR is not a technical person. He won't be able to, gauge your skills based on like technical things that you tell him. He'll basically filter out based on what kind of experience you have and what kind of certifications you have. So, this is not necessary, but it's good to have, is what I'll say.
And what do you think about job satisfaction?
As in,
As it means, uh, means is the cybersecurity really interesting to do? How fun
oh
is
yeah,
it?
it is like heck interesting, dude. So you basically get into competitive hacking, it becomes tons and tons of interesting, where you basically compete with other teams and you collaborate with other hackers, where you come together and you decide on brainstorm on how to hack specific things. It's really interesting, and you really need to keep up with the technology. So right now, like ChatGPT is there, it's really booming in topic. People have already found out ways how to get malicious things done from chat gpt. So that's how things are in cybersecurity. You really need to stay with the tech game. You really need to up your tech game and be there with the society, what's happening around. You need to really keep an open mind about things that are happening around you. So there are tons of things to explore in cybersecurity. You necessarily don't need to be in web applications or network applications or uh, mobile applications. You can go and hack clouds. That's the thing. You can go ahead and hack. There is wireless hacking. People are hacking the conversation between an airliner and the ATC. That's how things are. People are hacking satellites. People are hacking aircraft. There are just tons and tons of things. And you can also find online that there are people who are hacking like how to open your car. That is known as RF hacking, radio frequency hacking. So there
And
are tons and tons of interesting field over here, and I don't think if you genuinely have interest about this field, you'll ever be bored in this field.
and people are learning by their own. The plus thing is that.
Yeah. Yes. So I'll just say this: if you want to get good into cybersecurity, there are no mentors. There's no one who's going to guide you like A to Z. You will get mentors; they'll be able to guide you like 20-30%, but the rest 70 to 80% you have to do it on your own. There's no getting around this. And literally, Google is the best mentor you can ever find. You just
Yes,
searching for things on Google is a skill, and a good hacker knows how to search for Google and get his results. This is really important.
well said. So,
Yep.
how would you like to conclude? Any last message for the students?
Okay, so I'll just say that, a lot of things are going on in colleges, and it might not necessarily be regarding this, because this was what I experienced in my college years, that whatever was going on into college, I was rarely interested in it unless and until it was remotely related to cybersecurity. So if you find it that way, that hey, I'm not relating with what's happening in college, and this is like MLAI is not my thing, development is not my thing. So I'll say that it's okay to bunk colleges, is what I'll say. It's okay to bunk colleges if you are able to go ahead and give that time to things that you love. And if you genuinely love cybersecurity, I'll say get into this field, but don't get into this field just because there's good money, because I have tons and tons of examples as well, because people got into this field expecting that they'll earn a tons of money, but really doesn't happen, because you need to know a lot of things about this.
And
And there is no like A to Z path. You can reach to anyhow to this path, and there is no like a paved way to that path. You have to go ahead and find your own way towards that destination. So that is what I'll say, that keep trying, You'll get burned out. That happens quite often, but don't give up. You just have to be there. You just have to be there, and you just have to keep trying again and again and again until you get that thing, jotted down in your brain. Uh, and apart from that, yeah, this field is pretty great. You'll if you find people, networking is really important. You need to know other people as well. So find some communities in your cities, I'll say. So if you are in Mumbai, get in touch with me in LinkedIn. I can help you out with communities. I'm a founder of the Hackers Meetup, one of the founders of the Hackers Meetup community as well in Mumbai, where we have like monthly sessions where we explore and explain different concepts of cybersecurity. And yeah, get into CTF because CTF actually goes outside and you'll get an idea of what real hacking is. You'll get a taste of it, is what I'll say.
With that, thank you very much, Siddhant, for being here. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Thank
It
you.
was my pleasure.
And
Thank you.
we'll see you in the next episode.
Yes, yes, yes. Bye. Peace.